Hello, Mr. Nugent. How are you?
He said he's been here for you guys to start.
He says he's been.
Yeah.
I know you've been here, sir.
Council, you okay? Is Mr. Nugent ready there?
He's all ready.
The executive session's over. I thought you guys would be ready to go.
All right. Okay. I want to thank everyone for being here tonight. The Town of Monroe Monday, October 1st meeting. There are two exits behind you, one to our left, your right. Please silence your phones. And if we could all rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, we're gonna start the meeting off tonight with one of the partners, Paul Wanger from Flagship Premium Cinemas. They arrived today. He's got a crew on site. Extremely wonderful, hardworking people. I was there for a few hours today, and then I came back for a little bit, and they really seem to want to get involved in the community and make this a success. So if you want to come up to well, you want to stay there, Paul, or you want to come up to the podium? Okay. And George will play the presentation, and
Actually, Valerie's got it.
oh, Valerie is? And then if there's anybody has any questions afterwards from the audience to the board, you know, Paul will address any of your questions.
Sure. Hi, my name's Paul Wenger. I don't know if I should address the board.
No, it's fine, yeah.
I am the president and one of the principals of Flagship Cinemas. We're honored to be part of the Monroe community and are excited about some of the changes that we'll be bringing to the Monroe Cinema. Flagship Cinemas is a privately held company. We were established in 1995. We have 17 locations in 7 states, mainly along the eastern seaboard, as far north as Rutland, Vermont, as far south as Homestead, Florida. We pride ourselves on the fact that we sort of come into a community and try and learn the needs of that community rather than sort of approaching it from a one-size-fits-all, which philosophically we just disagree with. We don't think that that works. We're not like the big national companies that think that, Twizzler sells at one location, it sells at all. So what we're doing with our team, and we have roughly 12 of our people here that we brought in from as far north as Maine, all the way from Homestead, Florida, is to try and come in and understand what the community requires. There's no question that we've quickly identified that one of the most critical things is to get the other 3 screens up and running. So we took a risk and we ordered 3 additional projectors ahead of time. Those were delivered today. And so we have our engineering group that's working very aggressively to get those 3 screens up and running. We hope to have 2 of the last 3 done by Friday of next week. We'll open 3 this week. We're going to keep the policies in place, pricing, local town resident discounts, and we'll over time modify things accordingly. Our big plan is to renovate the auditoriums to include powered recliners. That we're one of the few independent operators who quickly sort of got ahead of the curve and realized that the premium concept was really catching fire. And so back in 2014, we engaged in the whole premium concept and have gotten pretty good at it. We've converted roughly, we're about at 90% of converting our entire chain to a premium concept. And so that's what we plan to bring to the town of Monroe. we feel that that's really what's needed to sort of turn things around and get people excited about coming to Monroe. And what we find is that when we do these conversions is that we tend to bring people from a much larger trade area, specifically because there aren't that many people offering those kinds of amenities. So we are very excited, again, to be in the Monroe community, and we're going to work very hard and prove to you that we'll make this a success and make it something that you guys are all proud of. So I'm willing to take questions. These are the photos that you see are sort of our concept and our look. It's a very elegant upscale type look, and we plan to bring that to Monroe. So overall, I think we're looking at about a year for completion, mainly because the building is a multi-level building. It's a little more complex than a single story, but that's our plan. I'm willing to take any questions you may have.
I don't know if it's proprietary, but George, can I yell out loud here?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. What was the price of the projectors, the digital projectors? Per projector?
Well, it's more than just the projectors. There's audio equipment, there are racks. I mean, by the time we're all said and done, you're somewhere around $100,000 per. Yeah.
Wow.
That's the entire ensemble.
Okay.
So it's not just simply a projector.
The projector in Studio 6 was showing movies. Is that usable or not?
That is not. That does not meet the requirements of the film studios.
A couple other questions. Well, let me just say also is that we've had arguments over the theater over the last 5 years. We welcome you to Monroe. This is wonderful. To have 6 screens up there with recliners, upscale food. I read your website. This is wonderful. If you hear screaming and shouting and stuff like that, nothing to do with you.
No, I won't take offense.
All right, good. And let me just ask a general question. How do you like our building?
I love the building.
That's not there.
It does offer some operational challenges, and so we've identified those. I spent some time last week touring the building and really examining the operational efficiency or inefficiency, maybe. And so we think we've identified a way to really improve the operations of the complex. Now, we understand the complexities of a multi-story building, and those are things that our team are sort of working on this week. And that's why we're not rushing to get the other 3 open. We want to take our time. We want to identify any deficiencies and try and streamline how we're going to get customers. Because, I mean, you guys really haven't had the general public walking around the entire building, except for maybe some private events. And so those are the things we're working on right now. But I love the building. The building's a beautiful building.
Here's this is really not a question, but the town owned the building, so there's no property tax. So the town still owns the building. So I hope that exemption from property tax continues. You speculate with the board in private on that. I just want to bring that to your attention. And then any chance of getting those recliners here for town board meetings?
We could certainly make that arrangement. I can at least get you one.
I would never see the end of the meeting.
Best nap you'll ever have.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions?
One of the things that's sorely been needed in our local walkways at the movie theater is a more mature style movie, or indie, artsy, mature genre. Nothing like that is ever shown here. If you're not into Godzilla or people shooting and flying out of airplanes, you can't go to the theater here. I think it's very difficult.
Yeah.
So a lot of us, and I've had this conversation with a number of people over the last couple of years, a lot of us are hoping that somewhere along the line, one theater, one continuous offering of that type of genre would keep people from driving to Newburgh and Middletown and over to Westchester to Peekskill to get that kind of movie experience or going to the city.
Right.
It's never offered here, and not too many theaters around do offer that. I understand that. If somehow that genre could be included even in the minority of offerings,
Sure.
that would be great. And I think that would pull in a whole lot of people that are dying to go to movies. movies, just not the movies that have been shown.
Sure. No, I agree with you. The realities of our industry is that with limited screen counts, specifically with only 3 screens, you're limited on what product you can bring in. But if you're going to compete with some of the other theaters, you have to fight fire with fire, which is one of the reasons why you should have all 6 screens open. Even with 6 screens, we have certain contractual obligations with studios. But what we've done to accommodate those needs for certain communities is we develop a series called the Encore series, which does not require us to run films contractually for 2 weeks consistently. So what we do is we bring films back that the community has asked for, and we create the Encore series. So what we do is we publish, and we plan on doing that here at Monroe, because we realize there's a community here that would appreciate that. And so what we do is we'll publish a series of 4 films that we're playing in October, that we play on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 1, 4, and 7. And so we've done this on the Eastern Shore of Maryland, where we have a community of a lot of film societies. And so we build up a database. We let these folks know what films we're playing, and it's actually become a social event on those 2 days. And they go out for dinner, and then we have these films, and then afterwards they have a conversation about the film. So that's what we plan to bring to Monroe. In addition, we're very community oriented. We'll have free classic film series, and we'll have a free children film series. Now, these are films that are older films, but we bring them back and we show them on the big screen. We typically run them in the morning at 10 a.m. We find that we get a lot of the nursing homes that come, a lot of the children's, not nurseries, but
Daycare?
yeah, daycare. I was looking for daycare. The daycares actually come to these series, so it's pretty well received by the community. So we do those kind of things, and we do them consistently. It's not something we just do just to satisfy the community for a while. That's something that we do, and it's ongoing. So, but I hear you loud and clear, and we do plan on bringing here the Encore, and we will sprinkle in a couple of those films that you're referring to. It's not always about the blood and thunder, but it is hard. I mean, the ones that pay the bills, unfortunately, are those mainstream films. So, but we do try and sprinkle films in. Now, fortunately, our film buyer has a home somewhere in this area. So he's very familiar with the area, and I think he'll probably take a little special or a little extra special care in booking because he's up in this area quite frequently. So that can't hurt. So, any other questions? No?
Paul, I had a question.
Yes, ma'am.
You're still doing birthday parties for children or special events for
Yes.
rentals?
Yes.
And that would be, have you decided which theater that's going to be in yet, or is that still too early?
It's a little too early. We're still in the planning stages and trying to figure out the orientation. We sometimes we'll do it 2 different ways. We have facilities where we build 16-seat home theaters. We have in our Palmyra location, we may do that here because we have the additional space. Some of the locations we go into are quite limited as to what we can do, but there's a lot of extra space, like on floor 3. And what we'll do is we'll build a little VIP lounge, and we build like a little home theater. What we find is that certain times of the year, you have children who have birthday parties that don't necessarily have films that are age appropriate. And so what we'll do is we'll offer them the use of the home theater with a DVD. It's difficult to offer an entire auditorium for a small birthday party. So we do that, but in addition, we may do a little VIP lounge in there as well. But that's part of our master plan. So.
Anybody else have any questions?
Paul, what's your plan for the concession stand? What are you gonna change it up, upgrade it? There was a rumor about beer.
Well, here's what the general plan is that we'll immediately, unfortunately, for you Coke fans, we are switching to Pepsi Cola. We are a Pepsi Cola company. That's probably one of the things I get the most criticism
There's no
about.
Coke fiends here,
You're
don't
either
worry.
Coke or Pepsi, and there's no in between.
Correct.
So we are a Pepsi company. We are immediately, in fact, that's what we were working on today. We're designating a certain area of the lobby for self-serve soda. So part of our operation is to get the soda dispensers out of the snack bar and move it off out into the lobby. That increases our transaction time and the efficiency at the snack bar. It also, people generally like the ability to go up and choose their own soda products. And so that's our first plan, is to get our soda converted from Coke to Pepsi and install self-serve. We will eventually remove the concession stand and upgrade to a whole new millwork system. We would like to consider a beer and wine application at some point, and the area that we've designated for that is where they currently have their desk in the lobby. Because that we're going to move. We're going to move the office from the lobby, just for safety purposes. It shouldn't be in the lobby. And we're going to move the office. And so that area seems like a good place to have a beer and wine application, if that's something, we're able to apply for. But I think that's further down the road. Right now, we're going to focus on the mainstream popcorn, candy, soda. We will bring in hot foods, which are just, hamburger, pizza, fries, chicken fingers, that kind of thing.
That's great.
And we will be putting in self-serve ticketing. We'll have 6 terminals so that people can go online for convenience purposes and order their tickets and then come in and redeem them at the self-serve stations. So,
Excellent.
Hey, Paul, so you're going to be open on Friday for business?
yep.
Wow,
Yeah,
okay.
We have 3 films booked. We have Smallfoot, which opened last Friday, but because we were delayed in getting open, we'll have that come back. We have A Star Is Born opening Friday, and for the life of me, I've been up since 3:30. I can't remember everything, but there's another film breaking this week that will open.
Okay.
And then next week we plan to have the other 2 open. Number 6 we can't open right away because we need to give the town time to get out of Studio 6.
Okay.
And we've got some screens and frames ordered. The screen that's currently there is not usable for our purposes.
Okay.
So,
All right. So, yeah, very short shutdown period, in other words.
relatively speaking, it could have taken a lot longer,
Yeah.
but we sort of believed in it enough to prepare ahead of time. And I think you guys sort of did a good job at encouraging us to move forward. We pulled the trigger on a lot of things. To order and have this equipment here in time for delivery today required us pulling a trigger long before the licensing agreement was executed. And
Well, we appreciate that.
Yeah.
No, we're not looking, but, we were given enough of a comfort level to go through with that, and so that's why we're sort of prepared to get open as quickly as we are. So, you won't see a lot of physical changes in the lobby for week 1 or 2, but that's why we're here. We're coming up with a game plan, we're ordering materials, and we'll have them on site. And you'll see our team, we all get our hands dirty, including myself. So we're not ivory tower executives. You'll see me in there in shorts and a t-shirt and swinging a hammer. And that's who we are, and that's how we run our business. So
That's why you got 18 theaters.
I think so.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
so.
exactly.
Yep.
Yeah.
So any other
All right.
questions?
Grand opening, grand reopening, are you planning something
We'll
like
have a
that?
soft opening, I guess, and then...
Yeah, we'll have a soft opening. We generally will wait until we get a little further along so that we get a comfort level, and then we'll coordinate with the town and do like a grand opening.
Excellent.
Great.
The
Excellent.
question is, do you do a preliminary grand opening with a major grand opening? The real grand opening will be with the powered recliners.
Right.
That's going to be the real game changer.
Right.
So,
All right.
Well,
Excellent.
Thank you for understanding the needs of each community that you go in. and always recognize that this is a Coke community, so we might fail with Pepsi.
Come on, Tony, you're drinking RC Cola, come on. No, in all seriousness, thank you for everything, thank you.
Okay, next item is the acceptance of the September 24th minutes. I will make a motion to approve those minutes.
Yeah, I'll second for discussion.
Okay, we do have one, there was, for some reason, it didn't print out on our minutes.
Right, and that was what I wanted to discuss. The item is addressed on board docs, it is there. So I think for some unknown reason, our copies were just printed maybe 2 minutes before the other item was added. So, like I said, I just wanted everybody to be aware on board docs, it is correct. And like I said, I seconded for discussion, but
It showed.
that's my only comment.
Okay, it's item number 9, the audit of claims. Valerie, can you please read?
I got it, Tony.
Oh,
Okay, so
Mary Ellen,
it's
go
going to
ahead.
say, be it resolved that the town board of the town of Monroe request approval of abstract number 18002, general fund containing check numbers 22867 through 23010, and wires number 262 totaling $716,215.83. Abstract number 18002 escrow containing check numbers 1830 through 1832 totaling $4,925. Abstract number 18002 theater containing check numbers 1238 through 1244, wire number 261 totaling $8,270.19. Motion was made by the supervisor, seconded by Councilwoman Bingham, and was carried unanimously.
Okay, any other discussion? Let's call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne abstain.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay, so moved. 4-0 with 1 abstention. Okay. Next item. The Journey Church has requested that we enter into an agreement with them. Presently, they are in Etzkayam, and they occupy the meeting hall, banquet hall on Sundays, every Sunday of the month, and then one day during the week. I would like the contents, obviously, to be discussed in executive session of it before we finalize it, but I just wanted to bring that up so that everyone is aware that we would like to do that with them. It would probably be more on a temporary basis, maybe 4 to 6 months, as they look like they have secured another site in Orange County. Item 5.2, the Orange County Sewer District Number 1 proposal, the budget. Councilman McGinn.
Okay, this really has to do more with, it's not Orange County Sewer District Number 1. This really has more to do with the town residents that fall within the Moodna Sewer Commission. And basically every year, Moodna has an agreement with the county, and every year the county sends Moodna a bill for the 3 towns or the 2 towns and the 1 village that is in the district or in the commission, and every year the commission disputes that bill and pays a portion of it, but not the entire portion of it, because it's not part of the original contract that goes back years and years. So basically what the commission has to do, or what each municipality in the commission has to do, is basically do a resolution, pass a resolution, the individual boards attesting to the fact that we are protesting that those payments that the county throws in there that are kind of undocumented and unspecified payments that they throw in there. And so I have the resolution here. I'd like to read it. Supervisor and Council of the Town of Monroe, and this was prepared by the Moodna Sewer Commission's attorney, not the town attorney. The Supervisor and Council of the Town of Monroe, having received from Orange County Department of Environmental Facilities and Services a proposed budget for the year 2019 for operation and maintenance of the Harriman Sewage Treatment Plant, and having considered the same, and having heard the views of Henry N. Christensen Jr., who is the counsel for the Moodna Basin Joint Operation and Maintenance Commission, and deliberations having been thereon, it was the motion by, I'll make the motion afterwards, and the second will be included in this. Resolved that the Town of Monroe disapprove the proposed budget for the year 2019 for the Harriman Treatment Plant operation and maintenance in the following respects. The constituent communities of the Moodna Basin Joint Operation and Maintenance Commission, Village of Chester, Town of Chester, and a portion of the Town of Monroe outside Orange County's SD1 are entitled to a credit on the account of the 2017 operating surplus, which is not accounted for in this budget. 2, the proposed budget seeks from the contract users amounts towards administration expenses which have not been agreed to. 3, the proposed budget seeks unreasonable amounts with no supporting explanation for bank run stone and pipeline, blacktop, auto parts, gas, diesel, tires, trucks repairs. 4, the proposed budget makes no explanation of these proposed allocation of labor expenses. 5, the proposed budget seeks $112,000, $112,575 for legal services and $220 for a consultant which have not been agreed to. 6, the proposed budget was not presented under cover of letter making specific reference to the 1995 intermunicipal agreement, and it is further resolved that the supervisor is authorized to notify the Orange County Department of Environmental Services that the proposed budget is rejected, and is further resolved that the items listed above shall be dealt with to the satisfaction of the supervisor and the attorney for the commission. The supervisor is authorized without further action by this board to approve a revised budget. So that's the resolution, and I kind of gave you a very brief overview of where this has been going on for the better part of 10 years, I believe, where the county comes out with this budget, says this is what you owe us, and the commission disputes it. Last year, or the first year I was on there was some, it looked like the county might be willing to kind of talk. We were hoping that might result in a merge of the Moodna Sewer District into the county. Those talks kind of did not go beyond the talking point, unfortunately, but who knows, maybe in the future it will. So anyway, I'll make a motion that we accept this resolution as I read.
I'll second that. Cologne to second.
Any other discussion?
Just to clarify, this is the county budget that it's reflected. It has nothing to do with the Town of Monroe budget, correct?
No, it's separate. It's the county's budget as it relates to Moodna. It's not our budget.
And that letter to Mr. Hammond, is he still there, or is Eric Denega?
No, Mr.
Hammond
Hammond
is
is
still-
there, but Eric Denega is,
The sewer guy.
oversees, yeah. Hammond's the sewer guy. Eric oversees, what's his title? DPW.
Yeah.
Okay, just clarification, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scangarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay, so moved. Item 5.3, some small surplus of the Town of Monroe Dog Shelter. Mary?
Yeah, there was some dog cots, and they've definitely seen better days. They have big holes in them, they've been chewed on, and the proper procedure is to declare them surplus so we can discard them, and then we would probably be looking at the dog shelter budget to see exactly how many new cots we would be replacing. But we have to get rid of 9, they're totally unusable.
Want to make that motion?
I'll make the motion to declare them surplus.
Cologne to second.
Any other discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scangarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay, so moved. Item 5.4, presentation of the budget by the town clerk.
Okay, I received the town budget today. I stamped it in, and the supervisor has the copy, and each one, there is, my understanding, a book for each one of you councilmen, and each copy is stamped that it was received today.
Okay.
Thank you.
And it will be available online sometime tomorrow.
Tomorrow for the public online, or you can stop by and pick up a copy.
Just want to make a couple of notes. This is a tentative budget. It is a budget based on the wish lists of all the departments that I met with. I still have to meet with MOVAC. This budget is without any cuts or any adjustments that the town board will make. I repeat, is without any cuts or adjustments that the town board will make. There's a lot of work that needs to be done with this. We have quite a gap to close. We said going in that it was going to be something that was hard and a very arduous process, and we will make sure that it is done in the best interest of the taxpayer. Another item is we're awaiting a response from the state controller's office relating to the tax cap due to palm tree. And I do have a meeting with the county next week concerning just that. Also, another reflective part of this is that the state and the county numbers are not finalized. Some of that refers to sales tax, garbage, workman's comp. In addition, I have to work with Councilwoman Bingham to have the water district budget shored up and tightened up. There's one item before us tonight that I know John will bring up, and he's worked with Mary on it. Currently, there's grants and associated expenditures with those grants that are not currently included in here. That's another aspect that will be worked on. And there's more possible IMAs that will be discussed, which could add potential revenue to the town. So with that said, we do have our first budget meeting on Wednesday evening. The town board will use it as a workshop, and we will allow the public to make comments. You will probably not get any answers from us that night, but you will be allowed to make comments. And then on October 22nd is the public hearing. Am I correct? Is that the, no,
No, the
November?
public hearing is November 8th.
All right, I'm sorry, November 8th is the public hearing. You will be, allowed to speak before us that night. And on the 22nd, you can also make comments. Obviously, comments will be limited to 3 minutes during the October 3rd and October 22nd meetings. So with that said...
Can you just clarify that those meetings are at 6 o'clock?
Yes,
So the
both
public-
October 3rd and October 22nd are at 6 p.m. So with that said, please be patient. This is not the final budget. This is a tentative budget. And I would say you'd probably get 2, maybe 3 different generations of this as we move the process along. Old business. John, you want to discuss the RFQ for the Town of Monroe Highway Department garage oil and water separator, please?
Okay, Mark Etzel and his crew basically told me through email at this point he would like to put this out to bid. So it will not be an RFQ, and it will be a sealed bid coming back to the Town of Monroe. So Mary Ellen would have to post this in the Times Herald Record, of course, for us and get that bid started. It's going to be an oil-water separator in the Town of Monroe Highway Garage, front building.
Okay.
And that's, just need approval to put it out to bid.
Okay, so I'll make a motion that we approve this bid to go out and for the town clerk to publish the notifications.
I'll second.
Seconded by Councilman Scancarello. Any other discussion on it?
Yes, what time frame are we looking for the bids to come back? 1 month, 2 weeks?
I would say try for a 3-week number. I think 3 weeks should be good. Let's go with a month. Go with a month.
Okay. So that would be for 1 month, for the bids to come back within 1 month.
Okay.
So
And-
so when are we setting for these bids to go out?
John, you want to set dates?
You have to set a bid
A
bid
date for when you
date.
want it to go out.
Next Monday, Mary Ellen? That'd be perfect, I think. I'll give you a little bit of time.
And they,
Okay, so then,
So a month from Monday.
MHE is doing the specs on it?
Monday's a holiday and I need to
Yeah,
have,
MHE has got the specs on it. I don't know.
You may have to do it Friday because Monday's a holiday. she said.
Friday would be fine.
well, not this, we'd probably be better off going to Tuesday because I'm going to need time to put together the public notice with Mark Etzel to go into the newspaper. So, what is Monday's date?
Monday is
Tuesday's the 8th.
Tuesday's the 8th?
Yeah.
So why don't we say that Wednesday, October 9th, it'll be in the newspaper.
Okay.
And how long do you want the return date?
No, wait,
Friday's the 5th.
no. Monday is the 8th.
Monday's the
Right,
5th.
but
Friday's
8th
the
is
5th.
a holiday, so that's why she was
Has to
saying,
be the 9th.
Okay, so then it would
Has to
be,
be the 9th.
Wednesday is the 9th? I want to go with Wednesday.
No,
Yeah.
Tuesdays. Oh,
Wednesday is the 10th.
Wednesday's the 10th.
Let's go
Wednesday,
with the calendar
October
here.
10th. Wednesday, October 10th.
Monday's the 8th.
We're going to have it published in the Times Herald Record. And then I'll just need a return date. How long do you want it out?
I'd say 1 month.
1
1
month?
month to get the bids back, or, you know.
So our next town board meeting would be November 8th.
No. Oh, for that?
For that?
Yeah, for
Yeah,
that,
for
yes.
that. So
Oh,
we'll
wait.
put a return date for the week before, so that will give you time to review it,
Okay,
and then we can have it on the agenda for the 8th and decide what you want to do.
perfect.
All right. Okay, so, John, Town Board, you did have a RFQ out for this. You got one response, and the board needs to reject that response so we can move forward to go out to bid with this.
okay, so I'll make a motion to reject the response from,
That was I'm sorry. WCC Tank.
WCC Tank.
I'll second that. Any other discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarella, aye.
Again, I,
Okay, so moved.
You want me to
Okay. now we-
keep going, Tony, or? I got a couple
Well-
little odds and ends here for
We
you.
just need a motion with respect to all the dates.
Oh, I'm sorry,
and
yep.
going out. So do you want to make that motion, Mary? Or want me to make it?
Yeah, I'll let you make it. I think you
Okay,
wrote
so,
it down better than I did.
Council, is this RFQ or RFP?
RFP.
Sounds like you're going RFP at this point.
Okay, so I'd make a motion to go out for an RFP on the oil separator, oil and water separator at the highway garage, and we will have the notification on October 9th, with the bids due back November 5th? The Friday before?
Let's,
The second, first of all, if you want to go out on Wednesday, Mary Ellen?
Yes.
That would be the 10th, so, and if you want it back, the month, not that you want it back, but the superintendent wants it back that week before, and that would put us at like November 2nd, 1st or 2nd, that's that Thursday and Friday before the 8th, which would be our next meeting.
so let's go with the Thursday.
Okay.
Okay, that's
So
fine by
Okay,
me.
so,
This first, November 1st.
So with a return date of November 1st.
So out on the 10th, back on the 1st.
all right, so I'll make that correction. Out on the 10th, back on November 1st. Okay. And I would like, just, Marion, if you could coordinate with Mr. Nugent on this, just to make sure everything is correct.
I will. I'll
Okay.
also contact Mark Etzel
Yes,
to make
yeah.
sure.
All right?
So I will second that motion
All
for the
right.
RFP.
Any other discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarella, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay, so moved. Okay, next item on the old business is the telecom communications. So this is for the expansion of our phone system when we take over the entire building, new town hall. It's a savings annually of approximately $14,580, about $1,215 monthly. You should have a breakdown, which I received this past Friday from Telecom Data Service. And essentially what happens with this is they're going to take over the management of our current phone system, which is currently managed by Superior. They will add two conference phones and 10 desk lines, and they will upgrade the current phones with the PRI card and additional programming. And they will also come in and give the staff a little breakdown or class, if you may, on exactly how these phones are used, because we have not been using them to our advantage. There's no unexpected upgrade cost for the phone system going forward. The only fee we pay for this is we pay 50% of the projected first-year savings, which will amount to about $7,290. I will tell you that the customer service and operations manager, Brianna Galloway, was probably one of the best sales people I had ever worked with. She was phenomenal, on top, and I'll tell you that the language they used was way above my head, and the acronyms and everything, but I think this is a system that we should approve tonight. I will not, and I have informed them, I will not sign the contract until we're assured that the building is ours and we're going to be moving forward with any of the additions, because I don't want to have to pay a 50% fee and we're not going to be able to use their service. So with that said, I'd like to make a motion to accept the presentation and the quote from Telecom Data Service for the addition to our current phone system.
I'd like to second that.
For discussion?
Yes.
Yep.
Couple quick questions. So how does this impact the court's phones?
Yeah, it's just-
Is that included with them moving over, or?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I didn't read this.
No, that's
just
all right.
one thing,
No,
so
that's all
I'm-
right.
You know, that's-
Every phone system in any of our buildings is included in this.
so highway, everybody's
Highway,
included.
senior center.
Senior center, okay.
Dog shelter, courts.
Okay.
Actually, even the TMAC was included in this.
Okay.
So we have the capability of going to up to 64, I believe, phones, and 65 phones. And currently, I think we're at 49 or 50. So those phones from the courts will carry over into the building.
Mr. Supervisor, because the courts are autonomous, did we run this past them for their approval? And, because I don't want to get caught in another trap with, I don't know how that issue works. I know they're supposed to be independent for like legal reasons or whatever. so-
I will take your advice and make a call to the judges
Judges, yeah.
and find out.
Because it's my understanding that because they deal with, security and different records, that, I just want to make sure that, we don't overexceed.
Exactly.
It's a
Exactly.
great idea, I love it, but, I just want to make sure that's done.
And just so everyone knows, we had conversations with 3 different companies. The one we chose through Telecom Data Service was Newcastle Solutions. We also spoke with Jive Solution and TPX Solution. Unfortunately, TPX and Jive would have caused us to have to run new fiber into the buildings, which would have been an additional charge, and we weren't ready to do that. Or did we want to do that and pay that expense?
Right. I had one other additional question.
Sure.
The water hotline, would that also be covered? That has some kind of interconnection too with the emails.
I will
So if you could just
make
verify
sure when
that.
I have to speak to them this week, I will make sure that the water hotline is covered here. Good question, Mary. Anybody else? So if you could just add into that motion, Mary Ellen, that it's telecom data service and the bid from Newcastle Solution is the direction we want to go. Please. Okay, call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Malone, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Begin, aye.
Okay, so moved. Public comment?
Dan?
I know your time is valuable. Online today, on the town's website, I took a look at Anne Marie Morris's report on Alex Smith Pavilion. Nicely structured, looks good, the numbers aren't in yet, but, there it was. Any citizen can take a look at it and, offer an opinion. And I look forward to the end of the year when we get all the numbers in and see how that did for the season. I mentioned to our visitor about the property taxes at TMAC. So if we could work that out, we still own the building, should be exempt. And I'm assuming that George Carney and Channel 22 and his operations are going to be moved to Eitzheim, and I think there's a lot of room in that building, so I'm pretty sure you'll do something with them there. I don't see, anyway, I'm sure you're planning on that. And here we have a professional theater operating company coming in. It's taken them a week to close and reopen. We got the go-ahead in October 2014 when the judge said you may do whatever you want with that building. We didn't get it open until May of 2015. So the professionals did a little bit better than the last town board.
Surprise.
I would ask you to talk to our flagship, and maybe they would invite the Hudson Valley International Film Festival to come in the dog days of August when it's hard to fill seats and put on that film festival. Last a week, a lot of glory. They might have a different look at it because they're in the business, so maybe they see that as a builder of customer, making people come. And the Moodna Basin Joint Operating, I forget the rest of the letters, but yes, each year Orange County Sewer District Number 1 sends us their accounting. It's always improper, and the attorney tells us, no, and the Moodna Basin Commission, which we have Rick and Mr. McGinn on, actually is standing up for the ratepayers of Monroe. So it saves them a blow. So, and if anybody ever suggests that we take the Moodna Basin work and hand it over to the Orange County Sewer District Number 1, please refer to this resolution that gets passed annually. Don't give it to them. And one other thing, the building, the theater building is on the town books at $6.8 million. This is not off the top of somebody's head. This is the Industrial Appraisal Company of Pennsylvania. The Government Accounting Systems Board requires that every piece of property that a town owns be evaluated and put on this book. So it's on the books at $6.8 million. You're looking to sell it. You're actually in the deal with Flagships. In the third year, they have an option to buy. So right now, you're actually talking about the price. So I would ask the board members to never mention a number lower than $6.8 million until the other side starts negotiating. When you come into negotiations, that's where you start, $6.8 million. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Burke.
Thank you.
Mike Goldstein?
Good evening, Mike Goldstein, still not affiliated with any party. 3 quick questions. I ride by Lakes Road quite often. I don't see anything happening with the solar farm. Some days the gate's closed, occasionally I'll see the gate is open and a truck there. It doesn't look like a lot of work is getting done. So I'd like to know what's going to happen to that. When will the agreement for the theater be online? I looked today and I couldn't read it. It wasn't online. And then the last one is, which came up tonight, Mary, when you were talking about dog bowls. Dog bowls for what location? We don't have any dogs in town anymore.
We still do get some.
Okay.
I'll answer further later.
Thank you.
Ward Brower?
Ward Brower, private citizen. Still congested, Mary. When the budget happens in November, we'll get a notice in the mail, Mary Ellen?
Yes, you'll
With
get the
with
yearly
districts
card.
also?
Yes, you'll get the
This year, could
yearly
you
card.
break that out? Some people came here and it was sort of intertwined with the regular budget. People wanted to comment on their independent.
Ward, it goes out, that's the way it has always gone out.
Not your fault. You sent it out.
Yeah.
But at this meeting last year, some people wanted to comment and they said, you're done. And
Well,
they
the
didn't know- they didn't know-
meeting was over, and I'll go over it with the supervisor, and we'll make sure that people understand that if you're in a special district, the night of the budget, the special districts are included in the budget, and by law, because you're in a special district, that postcard has to come to you. So the public needs to know that if you're in a special district, come that night and you get to speak. It's just not on the rest of the budget, but we'll make sure.
That was an oversight last year, I know some people were upset. And what is the time limit on the comments on the budget?
Probably looking at 3 minutes. We haven't discussed it yet.
3 minutes on an involved issue like the budget? I mean, I've seen Ed Dole was up here for 45 minutes, and he still had to go on, and he deferred his time to someone else because he still had points. So 3 minutes sounds a little rushed. Last meeting, one of the citizens character was sort of assassinated by criticizing this government since January of stressing more of the apple pie and without the meat and potatoes. He didn't put in that words, but that's what I'm doing. Apple pie is very important as far as government, but there's also meat and potatoes. But my friend was character assassinated, saying that he didn't care about the services or the awards that people receive. That's not what he's about. He didn't say anything about diminish their capability or their performance or their service. He was making a point about government, and that was unfortunate. We had Ms. Converas up here. No. She was a political figure. And this board has the right to comment on political figures. That's what they don't have a right to do is to run them for office, make campaigns things, but they have a right to comment on it. And she was a significant political figure in this town. So just to paint a broad brush of if it's politics you can't talk about it, that's nonsense. You cannot campaign for someone, but you can talk facts. And several of us requested not to rush into the flagship deal because we didn't know the details, and I understand from a couple of my friends here that details still aren't online. And I wonder what the rush was, since a gentleman was here said take them at least a year to get implemented anyway. So what was the rush? There has been a change in this government, and we did need some meat and potatoes. For instance, we used to have a controller here, independent politically, but a good person as far as budgetary with plenty of experience. And I missed his comments on these things. I'd like to hear one argument from one group anytime. I like Mike McGinn on this board. I like 2 Mike McGinns on this board. I don't want 3. I like to have 2 parties. I like one challenge the other. Mike does an excellent job, his point of view. And what he said about people he talked with, I'm sure was very sincere. But he didn't talk to everybody. There are other people out there he haven't reached. And that's why we need other people on the board to reach out to the other people, so you get a balance here.
Got to wrap it up, Ward. We gave you an extra minute, but go ahead, quick.
Appreciate the time. Used to be 3 to 5 minutes initially for 12 years. The other thing is, brought up last week was, why is there still a sign-up limitation? 7:45 and you're done. Some people come here they work late and they miss their opportunity to comment. And that's very unfortunate. This is still an open society as far as I know, even though we have a supermajority on this board. Thank you.
Anyone else out there like to speak? Steve, come on up.
Just when I see you, I just was curious if somebody could give us an update as to what's going on with our involvement with ACE Sky. I mean, you mentioned it today, and we were just sitting here going, oh, do we own the building? Do we own the building? So
Where
we are.
we're in the contract process right now, and the bonding process has proceeded and been completed, and now essentially the bonding company is just waiting for some documents from us, financial documents and some other documents which were sent to them on Friday and today. And we hope to close, I would say, I'll leave it up to council, but I'm going to say sometime around the end of October, beginning of November. Council?
Yeah.
Yeah?
That's fine.
Okay.
Go with it.
Thanks for the support. Yeah.
That's great.
That'll teach you.
Yeah, whatever you want. Sure.
Okay, anyone else?
Easy.
Okay. Anybody up here? Comment?
We do still get some dogs at the shelter. They don't usually stay long, but you still have to give them a place to lay down. So we will need some replacement cots, and as I said, if it's maybe 2 that we have to buy, we'll look into that. We'll try to get an accurate number. Budget, it's getting long and involved, and it would always, in years past, I was on the opposite side. I know it was helpful if the person making comments to the town board had a written question with line item numbers regarding their concerns on the budget, because you're looking at something that's pretty hefty page-wise, and for people to be flipping through it, it can get a little complicated. So if anybody does want to speak at the public comment time during the budget, if you could tell us and possibly even give us a written letter ahead of time so we could look at the line numbers, and that way we would be better prepared to answer those questions. So that would just be helpful for us. I guess the rest of the board might want to make some comments.
Councilman Cologne?
Due to my coughing, I'll try to keep limited. Excuse me, everyone. Thank you. As far as signups, if you are planning to make it to the town board meeting and you feel that you may not get here in time, you can always call ahead, and speak to the town office and tell them you'll be arriving late and you would like to have your name down. I don't think that would be a big problem. So, in other words, if you have to come in to sign in and you feel that you're not going to make it here by the assigned time, call ahead. Number one. Number two, a lot of people like to ask questions. I know things come up during the meeting, but they'll have a question in mind about a particular issue or item. If you're really looking for an answer, the best thing to do is to communicate that question first to the supervisor's office or to the town hall so we can research it and get you a proper answer. We cannot know everything off the top of our heads. There's a lot of things that go on from day to day. We do the best that we can. What's the rush with the theater and the agreement? This was no rush issue as far as we're concerned. But for a lot of different reasons, we had to keep it, pardon the expression, close to vest because there was a lot of negotiations that were going on, and we did not want to have interference insofar as trying to derail this agreement. I think it's a very good agreement. I think it's sound. I know it's going to be a big improvement for the theater. It's going to be what a lot of people have been looking for. This company, I think, is well suited to what we expect from our theater and what people are looking for as far as a premium upscale theater at a good price and not a breakneck price. So it was given to the public at in a very short span of time, but it was far from that with the members with Mike and Tony working on this, as well as our attorney for some time. So I cannot thank you gentlemen enough for all the details and everything that you've covered in this agreement. It's certainly going to make a big difference to our community, and it's one of our first steps of many to get not only people more involved, but to increase the experience of living in Monroe, which I think is still pretty damn good. And I'll leave the comments for everybody else.
3 minutes? I'm just kidding, Rick.
I took less than 3, didn't I?
Just one addition, with regard to Flagship, I think this is a win-win-win for everybody. It's a win for the taxpayers, it's a win for the residents, and it's also a win for the community and the downtown area of the village. I think it's going to draw a lot more people into the downtown, which will also help enable the restaurants to get some incremental sales, and that's always a positive. I just want to say to Mr. Burke, Mr. Goldstein, and Mr. Brower that I think this board is extremely flattered that we are always a trending topic in your life. And I know that, everybody else would think that, this board is an acquired taste, and I think maybe you should acquire some taste as we move along. So, thank you.
That's another insult. Thank you very much. All class.
I'm good. You took the words out of my mouth.
All right, not to beat a dead horse with Flagship, but it's a great, I think it was a great fit for the community. I'm glad everyone was here tonight, got to meet Paul Wanger, kind of put a face to the whole thing. Mr. Burke had some good questions, and, going forward, I think that's whether it was this board or the previous board, it's kind of what we always envisioned, and probably what you guys envisioned seeing happening there was that building and that facility being used to its full potential, and it looks like we're finally there. So that's good for everybody, regardless of where you fall in the spectrum. Regarding Mudna, and I touched upon the fact that there were some talks with the county at one point about possibly merging Mudna in with the county. That wouldn't happen unless the debt that is built up over the years was abolished, and that it would reserve the capacity for the residents that live in that Mudna area. So that wouldn't happen unless those things were satisfied. Otherwise, it would be a non-starter. So as long as I'm on the board, I'm sure Rick and maybe Mary down the road, since she's Miss Water, Miss Sewer. That's the opposite end of the water, unfortunately. But I think we're all kind of in agreement that those are conditions and demands that would have to be met before that occurred. The theater agreement, we will get that online. There was just a couple little changes, nothing that's gonna nothing that's significantly altering it, but we will get that online so people can take a look at that. The sign up and the time, listen, Mr. Burke went past his time, we didn't care. Walt, you went past your time, we don't, that's fine. We don't, it's just if you have 25 people speaking, then you got to keep it to a number, and that's just for the good and efficiency of the meeting. You have to move things along. this isn't one party up here. I mean, we come from different political parties. Not that at the local level that really matters as much, but we have different thoughts and we have disagreements, and because we don't duke it out up here at the table doesn't mean that doesn't occur. I mean, a couple of weeks ago, I had probably the biggest blowout I've had in 2.5 years with him, with Mr. Cardone, with the supervisor. So, but, when we come up here, we will have our differences and we'll say our piece, but we will, we're civil. And that's, I think, what after the tumultuous years that we had, I think that's what people want to see. And we don't agree on everything, for sure, but, the one thing that we all do agree on is that we got to be professional about how we go about our jobs. So that's all I got.
Just one other item to that, Mike, and I would check with our town clerk, but traditionally, we don't put contracts online.
Thank you. I was going to ask to speak about that.
We will put bullet points of the contract online, but we have not in the past. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong.
As records management officer.
We don't.
Over 15 years. We put a lot of things out online, but the one thing we have never done, and unless the board directs me to, I will not do, is put the town contracts out online. My office doors are always open. You can email me. I'll scan it and email it to you, but it is something that, that's a record that I feel the public needs to come in or request for it. Not all records automatically go up online. We put a lot of stuff out there, but the town contracts are one thing that we never have unless the town board decides to direct me to put it out. I have never done it, and going forward, I won't unless you direct me to do it.
All right. So we'll get some bullet points out there, and if anybody wants a copy of the contract, they can come on into the town hall or contact.
I already have a
clerk.
request for it, so.
There you go. I'm sure you do.
Somebody did come in.
I'm
They
sure you did.
request.
So they'll be made available.
And Supervisor, if I may just take a moment to clarify, since this issue of the 3 minutes has been raised several times, the town board rules very clearly allow any person, and I want to say this for the benefit of those people that may not be here tonight, anyone can submit written comments without limitation, as long as they want, as lengthy as they want, to the town board on an issue of concern. So the 3-minute limitation is only as to the speaking here before the board tonight, and generally that's to highlight the points that somebody wishes to make, but certainly if they have concerns, they can submit 10 pages of comments to the town board, either in advance or subsequent to a meeting. And secondly, with respect to the time limits or the sign-up limitation, although it's there in the event that it's needed, in my experience here, I have seen the town board ask, even though there was a limitation, if somebody wished to speak, even though the sign-up sheet may have been exhausted, they've been allowed to speak. So those rules were put there not for the casual meeting when no one is here, but for the crowded meeting, so that somebody doesn't claim we're putting rules into place that particular night. The rules are in place all the time, and if you have something to say, frankly, I think that if you have bullet points, you could cover them in 3 minutes. If you have something that's really important or somebody wishes to speak on a particular issue, I am confident that if you reached out to this town board in advance and said that you would like 8 minutes to talk about a particular topic because it was important, the town board would consider that. But the limitation is not on people's public comment. That's only a limitation on the public speaking, but everybody is free to submit as much as they want, as often as they want, written comments to the town board if they wish to convey concerns to the town board.
Thank you for that clarification.
Solar farm was never answered?
The solar farm is looking to be completed at the end of October.
Thank you.
So, but before we adjourn, there are 2 other topics, 2 resolutions. One is to abolish TMAC. So we have to pass a resolution to abolish TMAC.
The department, you mean?
Yeah, the department. So I will make that motion. Anything I should be adding to it, council?
I believe there should be a resolution that was sent to the town board, which essentially it is to abolish the TMAC department and to pay any or carry out any obligations under the contract for the employees that work there, subject to approval of our office for any issues that need to be addressed for the employees that work at TMAC. And that's essentially the gist of the resolution.
Okay, yes, I have it here. I'm sorry, I got it late. Well, I got it early. I didn't open it till just now. I'm sorry. Do you want me to read it, or?
I think if you want, we can just address the,
Whereas,
yeah, I'm sorry, the be it resolved portion of the resolution.
Okay. Okay, so now therefore, I'll make a motion on this. Be resolved, Section 1, all the above whereas clauses are incorporated herein as if set forth in full. Section 2, due to reasons of economy and efficiency, the town board hereby abolishes the town department known as the Town of Monroe Arts and Civic Center, also known as TMAC, and town employment positions within such department effective October 6th, 2018, and town employees within such department shall be paid through October 6th, 2018, but shall not report to the TMAC for work after September 30th, 2018. Section 3, the town employees working in the TMAC department shall be provided with any benefits due them under the collective bargaining agreement, subject to approval and any requirements of town council as to form, example, agreement, release, etc. Section 4, the town clerk and any other town official or employee as directed by the town supervisor is authorized to take any necessary actions to carry out the provisions of this resolution. Section 5, the resolution shall be effective immediately, and basically we will ask for a roll call after this is seconded. Do we have a second?
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarella, aye.
again, aye.
Okay, so moved. Next item is a resolution to adopt a sexual harassment policy and to authorize the supervisor to schedule the required sexual harassment training program for all town employees and officials in accordance with the New York State Prevention of Sexual Harassment Law. I will read the, now therefore be resolved that the whereas clauses are hereby incorporated by reference as set forth in full herein. Section 2, the supervisor or designee is hereby directed to supply to all town employees and officials a copy of Town of Monroe Sexual Harassment Policy and Employee Acknowledgement Form. Section 3, the supervisor is hereby authorized to undertake the necessary steps to schedule a date and time for all town employees and officials to successfully complete the new sexual harassment prevention training program by January 1, 2019. Section 4, all town employees and officials must complete the sexual harassment prevention training program. Section 5, the supervisor or any other town official, employee, or consultant at the supervisor's direction is hereby authorized to take any and all necessary actions to carry out the provisions of this resolution. Section 6, this resolution shall take effect immediately. Any discussion?
I got to second it. I'd like to second that by
Okay.
Cologne.
All right, Supervisor, just if I may briefly explain to the town board, this resolution comes from a new state law under the New York State Labor Law. It's actually not specific to towns and villages, but actually applies to every single employer in New York State, whether you have one employee, 2 employees, or 100 employees. This is a required policy. Our recommendation and what we provided to the town board is a policy that tracks exactly the state model policy, with the approach that if we're following the state policy, it'd be very difficult for the Department of Labor to, criticize or otherwise challenge your policy. The immediate part is the policy needs to be in effect by October 9th, so that's why we're presenting this resolution tonight. We can, with comments, make modifications to that policy before October 9th. The training portion is to be done by January 1st of 2019, so that's not, of immediate concern, but the policy needs to be in effect by October 9th. So we provided with this resolution a model policy that we sent out to the town board, and that is based at this point strictly on the state policy and would replace the town's handbook policy on sexual harassment to follow this new model policy.
So I would assume that we would have to conduct a new seminar?
Yeah, there will need to be training. We're kind of waiting and seeing. There's some materials on the state website, like model training. There are other private entities providing training, so we have time to actually schedule that, and that's why the resolution delegates that responsibility to you to arrange for that. The immediate concern is just to have the policy in place, and then the training can follow. We'll have subsequent meetings. We're not in any rush on the training portion, except that we have to do it by January. And then it's annual after that for all employees to have the training.
I'm sure NYMER or Comp Alliance are going to be...
Yeah, the state law allows an interactive training, so theoretically the employees could either go on a website and do interactive training, or they could have somebody presenting it to them where they answer some questions. So there is some flexibility there, and so we're kind of in a wait-and-see mode. The state has training materials out there, but we'll have to determine what's going to be best for the town. But I would expect that typically, even when new employees are hired, they're supposed to take the training within 30 days. So we might have some type of interactive thing where they get on the computer and go through sort of a PowerPoint. But that, can still be dealt with. Our main mission tonight with this resolution is to have the policy in place that tracks the state model policy, and then we'll work out the training after.
Okay.
I have a question for council. Do we have to make a motion to repeal the employee handbook policy tonight as well?
This resolution would actually implement this policy, which the draft policy is a handbook policy. It's got a number on it that would replace your existing policy.
Okay, so we don't have to repeal it.
Right, so
We're
if
just
you enact
replacing
this
it.
one, you're enacting a policy to replace your existing sexual harassment policy. And we've, to the extent it was necessary, consolidated both. You're not really losing anything. This policy, the model policy now, is more comprehensive than what you have in your current handbook.
Thank you.
Okay. If there's no other, we just need to call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay. Any other business?
Yes. To end.
I got the bigger mouth here, so I could go.
Highway has requested being able to go out to state bid to look for a water truck. John, if you want to clarify?
Yeah, right now the water truck that they're using is my old Expedition. Obviously, it doesn't fit all the tools you need in it, and we're looking for a 2018 Dodge Ram 3500 series, and the price on that particular vehicle is $39,253. That's with the state bid. I do not know how much is actually American made, so I would like to possibly have a resolution for you guys to not to exceed 45,000. Once I find out what's American made, this will be coming out of all the water districts, and that will be funded for by that in the 2018 budget.
In the current budget?
In the current budget right now, yep.
Okay. Okay. I'll make that motion.
I'll
That we
second.
approve up to $45,000,
Not to exceed you.
not to exceed.
Ms. Bingham?
I will second.
Any other discussion? Just so everyone knows, Mary and I had spoke, and this will be allocated to the different water district based on the amount of users in the district versus the overall users that are in our districts. So,
Correct.
okay, call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay.
Thank you, guys. I do have two more things, Tony, real quick. Just some announcements for the compost facility to be opening. That's going to be on Wednesdays and Saturdays. That's going to open at October 17th and run through November 10th. So Wednesdays and Saturdays, the compost facility will be open from 9 to 2. So if George could post that up on the... Oh, great. Thank you, George. And basically, Hilltop Road project is complete, so within budget, thank God. That was a big one and a tough one, and I got to hand it to my guys because we were low budget on manpower, and we had guys out on injuries, and I'll tell you, they really stepped up and
Yes,
did
they
a
did.
tremendous job. So
Awesome
Yeah,
job.
you did a great job, I saw it.
Mary Ellen?
Okay, Supervisor and Town Board. Dial-A-Bus has contacted me. There are 4 buses up at the Dial-A-Bus that need to be surplused. They're asking that the 4 buses be surplused and then the approval to place them on Auctions International to sell them. After speaking with Mr. Pasculo, we've deemed that the value of the 4 buses is roughly $5,000.
Each?
No.
Oh, Jesus.
Total. Okay, that does not mean that we might not get more than that on Auctions International.
Do we
But-
push it to get out of the parking lot?
And that would happen within the next 2 weeks because there's some title issues that I am working on for Dial-A-Bus right now. So they just want the permission to deem them surplus and be able to put them out on Auctions International.
I'll make that motion. It's buses 26, 27,
21 and I believe 23.
21, and 23.
And we'll make it subject to me verifying the VIN numbers.
That's fine. I'll make that motion.
Is there any, oh, here, second, I'm sorry.
Call in a second for discussion.
Cologne seconded.
Is there, are there any restrictions on us doing that based on,
No, because
you know,
one of the titles
county funds, federal
tomorrow,
funds?
the county has turned the title over
Okay.
to us, so
That's what
I'm
I'm saying, just
titling it in the town's name.
Okay.
Once it's in the town's name, we have the right to dispose of these
Okay.
vehicles.
Are they
as we
running
see
or,
fit.
or not? I guess,
No, 2 of them have been back there for like 3 years.
Yeah.
4
So-
years. And I don't know the other 2. I think one of them just got off the road, and another one was, you know, I guess basically neglected, so,
okay, all right, thanks.
okay?
As long as we can, you know, dispose of them.
Yeah, we'll get some money for them.
Get rid of them.
One other final announcement.
So who seconded
we have
that?
to
Who
vote.
called the question?
Oh, yeah, we didn't call the question.
Okay, sorry. Call the
Rick
question?
Rick seconded, yep.
Bingham, aye.
Councilman Cologne.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Again, aye.
Okay. One other announcement. Today's October 1st. October is Breast Cancer Month. And we would hope that everybody makes an effort to support it in any way, shape, or form you can, whether it's volunteering, monetarily. I know the Commons has their walk yearly, and there are other walks throughout the county. So if you could, please make an effort to go out and support Breast Cancer Awareness Month.
Also, can we support the Conservation Commission for their Walton Lake cleanup on October 6th?
Oh, that's right. yeah.
That's right. Yep.
Yep.
Yep. So.
Yep.
Anything else? Any need for executive session?
Yes.
I don't have anything.
Journey.
What?
Journey Church, you want to do executive session?
Yes, that's an
Yeah.
executive.
Yeah, we could do that quick. Do that quick.
Make a motion.
Don't go anywhere, go right in the back.
Make a motion.
I'll make a motion, we go into executive session.
I'll second.
Who seconded?
Topic?
Contract
Yeah,
discussion?
yeah. I don't know, I'm guessing, because I don't know.
Yeah.
Sal, did you second?
Sal seconded. Call the question?
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
McGinn,
Cardone,
aye.
aye.
Scancarello, aye.
Good. All right, Brian.
Yeah, all right. Oh, no, I can't.
No, George has a special camera just for me.
Actually, if we check my schedule, we might be able to do it first thing in the morning.
Lawyer cam.
So I'm heading out at about noon.
Okay, yeah, whatever.
All right.
Yeah,
Motion to come back into a regular meeting from executive session.
I will second.
Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay. We had some discussion regarding the Journey Church's willingness to use the community room at the new Etzkine once we take over. The rate would be $2,300 per month. They will use it on every Sunday and one night during the week. In addition, there may be times on Sundays where they will use the classrooms. This will happen for approximately 4 to 6 months. So I'd like Mr. Nugent to do a simple agreement and forward it to their attorney.
Yeah, Supervisor, we do have a facility use agreement. I think we could use that, and if we need to add any language to it, we can, but there is a document that the town has for facility use, and we can work that into
Okay.
the agreement.
Okay. Okay, so I'll make a motion that we approve that.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye.
Okay, so moved. Motion to adjourn this evening's meeting.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
I will second.
Seconded by Councilwoman Bingham. Call the question.
Bingham, aye.
Cologne, aye.
Cardone, aye.
Scancarello, aye.
McGinn, aye. We'll see everyone here Wednesday.
See you Wednesday for budget.